All right, so what we want to do is to create a parts list with an exploded view and a actually listing of the parts. But instead of creating this in a Excel file, it will do it for you. And I want to show you how to pull in our files and create this. So here's how we're going to do that. We're going to open our title block, whatever title block you have. In this particular case, I'm just using an A-size title block. I'm going to bring in the base view. And the base view is going to be that exploded view, right? And you can go to it. You can find it here in your file. We're bringing in the exploded view. We're going to open that, which it is. And then we're going to give it a proper scale and position it where we want to position it. I'm going to pull it over here a little bit. Give it a, let's see what 1:1 looks like. That's way too big. 1:2. That's fine. Hit OK. And there's our view. So you can move the whole view around. This is the base view. I can move this around by grabbing and hovering over the view itself and grabbing the edge of it when those red dots pop up. So I want to leave a little bit of margin. Now we need to identify the parts. So I could bring in an assembled view too, just for clarity. We'll do that in a minute. We would bring in another base view and we'd go find the assembly. Here we go. I'm going to open that and I'm going to put that up here in the upper right corner just as a reference. There we go. Changing it a little bit. I'm going to do a 1:3. Let's do a 1:4. 1:2. Don't need that one. And I want to make sure this one is in color too. So I'm going to edit view and make sure it's color. Okay. So now to get the parts identified, we have to set it up. So we're going to switch from the Place View tab to the Annotate tab. And I'm going to use the balloon tool. And it says this creates balloons for the components of the drawings. So you can see at the bottom, I try to pull it away. I can't highlight it. And the bottom view of this particular help file, you can see the little balloon coming off of the part. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to click on that. We're going to go to the view that we want to associate. We're going to go to an outside edge, an outside of the perimeter, an outside edge, and click on it. I'm going to left click and it says, do you want this to be part of the build and place modification? Yes. And I'm going to drag it out to where I want it. And I'm going to left click again. I'm not going to move my mouse. I'm going to right click and hit continue. So the process is left click, right click, continue. Go down to another one. Left click on the edge, left click to place, right click, continue. Left click, right click, continue. Left click, right click, continue. Now, we're done, so I'm going to hit escape to get out of the command. I can move these around if I want to move them around, especially the arrowheads. If you're not happy with where it's placed, what you don't want is it to cross it and hit something inside. You want it just to go to the outside so that you see the arrowhead and it's not interfering with the part. Okay, so now it's identified these parts. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5. Basically in the order that you drew them in Inventor. So now we can create the parts list, and we see we're still in our Annotate tab, and all the way over to the right there's an identifier for parts list. And again, if we hover over it, it kind of tells you what we're going to do with it. We're just going to click on the parts list. Right? It says select a view. So I'm going to click on the view that we're identifying, right? I got to make sure that's blue. Click in that view and hit OK. And now we have a table that we can place. So I'm going to just place it in the bottom right corner. I'm going to adjust the size of the table with the green dots. And I can make it as tall or as little as I want. Let's move the table up a little bit. There we go. And now I want to put a description in. So I've already got the part number, and that's not right. The item number is essentially the part number, and then there's a description. So we can edit this. Edit the parts list. When you see that little icon where the move pops up, right click, edit parts list, and it brings up a little table, which is essentially the same thing as the part list, and now you can type stuff in here. So what I want to do is I want to call this column description. So I'm going to change this to format column. We're going to call it description. Okay, and this one I can actually delete. So I'm going to take the second one, I'm going to remove it. Apply, there we go. So now part 3, item 3, should be the orange part. You can add items like cost. You can add items, technical part numbers, SKU numbers, whatever you need. Then the last thing we're going to do is, of course, populate our title block. Remember how to do that. Go up here to field text, double click, and we can start typing our text. Don't have to worry about that so much, but there we go. And it'll populate our stuff in here for us. And that's it.